Alright, welcome back to a brand new video of the Target Individual program, Target Individual Experience. So over the weekend, it has been interesting. You know, again, the very subtle and frequent form of passive aggressive targeting in terms of the NY Predator Department use of sirens and also remote neural monitoring. And I know by those in the surveillance agencies and top law enforcement agencies that the use of the honking of the vehicle, right? Using the vehicle horns. And part of that targeting, particularly in the home, is again remote neural monitoring, in which they will use the sirens. The Predator Department, New York Predator Department, use their siren whenever I am looking at certain things of a certain color. Like again, my blanket, even just now, putting on my clothes, my boots, which is again, right? Okay, my hat, right? And why would they do that? Again, it's based off of the color, right? So it's not just my jacket per se, or my boots per se, or my hat per se. It is what color they are, right? So talk about that color psychology, right? Particularly when it comes to dark NLP and the power of association. So we associate certain colors with certain things, right? Well, with many things. You know, color green, we associate that with money. That's why, what we call money green, right? We'll use the term money green, or we'll say, get that green, right? And again, this is when they do this, it's basically my disability. That's basically what, again, that. And the reason why, because, I expose what it is that they're doing, and what it is that they have done and they continue to do. So this is retaliation, that's the normal mindset of these criminals and these predators on the police force and those within the security agencies and top law enforcement agencies, So I posted my video last night, and of course they weren't too happy about that, because I continue to talk about this, and though, like I said, this is, they do this all the time, where they target me so heavily, and you can't, and then so aggressively, and, being hit with a microwave and radio wave frequency, it affects you. There's no way that it doesn't affect you, but you have to understand how it affects you, when it affects you, right? And how it makes you feel, the people around you, what it is that they do. So I didn't even go outside at all this weekend. Not because I didn't want to, because I didn't need to. And look at, he's a block away. He's a block away. He sees me and he looking at his watch. Not the guy in the blue bag. He turns around and look at him too. The guy all the way down there. So you see, now they're keeping, some of them are keeping their distance, right? And again, I've showed you this before, where, like I said, they'll start to attack me so aggressively, and then I start to record them, and all of a sudden, some of them don't even want to be recorded, so they'll start targeting me from a distance, right? So yeah, so I woke up this morning, again, whenever they're targeting me, I get very furious in terms of exposing what it is that they've been doing. And I remember, there was a few years back, right? You had, I would say as far as back as a decade and a half, actually, not even a few years back, but over a decade, where you had police officers using police database to look up women's address, to seek revenge on people that they don't like, right? To do all kind of stuff. They were using these databases illegally to obtain women's addresses, basically stalking women to sleep with them, find out information, right? and again, this is like a regular thing, right? Even the CIA, its agents did the same thing. They use spy satellites to spy on people who is of love interest, right? And many people say, people don't even want to believe this shit, but I'm not making it up. Like I said, when I mention these things, believe and trust that I've done the research, right? To speak about these things, okay? And, even here in New York, police officers, again, we talk about that. There was an article that was written by Sean White. Yeah, he was a investigative journalist. He is an investigative journalist, and they've targeted him. So I think that's his name. I'm not sure, but they targeted him. So they were targeting him. But he wrote a story about you have these New York City police detectives who would threaten mothers that if they don't sleep with them, that they'll arrest their sons. They'll charge them, give them bogus charges, which some of them did, right? And this guy was eventually he retired, right? You know what I'm saying? And this is just one cop. And it was a black police officer too. That's the damn shit. That's the shame. That's to me. That's the, but those are the Sambos, right? And the coons, the Negropeans on the police force who engage in such practices because, they may be part of a police unit, in which they engage in illegal activities against civilians in order to bolster their arrest record, to get promotions and to get raises. And this is what they do. And when you're criminalizing your own group of people because of your self-interest, your selfish self-interest, what are you saying, right? To the kids, the young, what are you saying? Tell you, white racists know how to use black people for their own detriment and for the detriment of each other. And they continue to engage in such practices, and we continue to, the Sambos amongst us and the coons amongst us continue to be a tool used to destroy particularly black men and black boys. All right? And they are, like I said, I don't speak on these things just to speak on it. I speak on it because I know I've done the research. It's factual. Nothing less make believe. Again, so they can never talk about, oh, I'm just imagining shit, or I'm just delusional. They'll always go back into these claims, right? Of using the mental illness, of saying, I'm giving you that label because, again, when they think that they've discredited you enough, that they've harmed you enough socially, when they've engaged in covert warfare against you, right, to villainize you, to get the public to engage in, egregious behavior against you, egregious conduct against you, then they will try to say, oh, you're delusional. But nothing that I have said is delusional. Even my own experience, this is why I show you guys. And particularly the psychological parts of it, this is why I understand the psychological aspect of the targeting. I can show you exactly what's being done. And I did, on the videos I talked about Zerstuzum and COINTELPRO, which is, Zerstuzum is what is called the decomposition of a person, meaning the destruction of a person in society, right? And the use of covert warfare and covert psychological conditioning in order to do that, right? And that covert warfare includes propaganda, it includes setups, frame-ups, it includes the use of honey traps, it includes drugging, it includes all these things, right? So we live, the majority of, particularly us as black people, we're ignorant to these things, right? We will believe, particularly if you're non-religious, if you're a non-religious black person, the vast majority of black people are not going to believe because they're religious. And they would believe a mass murderer than to believe you what you're saying. As long as that mass murderer accepts Jesus Christ as his Lord and Savior, that's all that's all that's satisfying to them, right? So yeah, that's to show you how what their mindset is and how evil their mind actually are. All right. Imagine that. So imagine you have in some states in New York, you have judges actually letting criminals go because they accept Jesus Christ as their Lord and Savior, and that's enough for them, right? I mean, they'll totally ignore the law now. So imagine if these religious people were in control. Imagine what they would do, or who they would let out on the streets, right? So yeah. Like I said, I don't just speak on it. It's a fact. You can go look it up. All right. Talk to you guys in the next video.